I'm going to go ahead and stop my share because we have Jennifer with us. And I'm going to turn the mic over to her once she has the unmute on anyway.
Sorry about that. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's getting late over here. You look like you have light on. Are you on the West Coast?
Yes. I'm in the mountains. I'm in Utah.
Oh,
So
gotcha. Okay.
it's about 7 o'clock.
Gotcha. Okay. That is very nice. I miss the sunlight. It's all gone. It's all gone. But I've had enough coffee, so we're good to go.
Well, that's good.
Awesome. So which project are we doing with you?
We're doing the woodpecker cavity cam.
Love this one. Okay. So good. All right. So before you get started with that, I do want to know if you can share a little bit about why you became an ambassador, what you hope to accomplish, or any of the accompanying knowledge that you want to share.
I just think I was very excited to be an ambassador because I think citizen science is just it's something that everyone can do no matter where you're at, no matter what your situation is. There's a project for everybody. I mean, a lot of people think citizen science that you even have to go outside, and you don't. And you can if you want to, or you can just stay inside. You can do things in front of your computer screen, and that's great because you're contributing, and there's a lot of things to learn, and everybody has a part to play in that. And I like getting that word out to people.
Absolutely. I'm glad I see eye to eye with your reasoning too. It's a good point. It's nice to be able to you could be a gamer and want to stay inside all day and still contribute to science. And so
Yeah.
it be
Yeah,
any
a couple of my kids are gamers, and I'm like, this is you would like this, and it's something. It can even be relaxing. You can on your phone, instead of scrolling, I have a couple of things on my phone that I will just sit there and do, and it helps me disconnect from everything else that's going on, but I'm connecting to something much bigger.
Totally. Yeah. Especially with this this activity too, because it's so woodpecker cavity cam as we go through it, we'll notice it's relaxing because it's you have one mission.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
exactly. Okay, I'm
sweet.
gonna see if I
Yeah, you
can
should be able to share
remember how to
screen.
share my screen.
Yeah, let me know if there's a problem. I will check to make sure I turned it on. Yeah, you should be okay.
Okay, let's see. No, it doesn't seem to like me.
Oh, Zoom was
Oh, there
crashed
we go.
today, so who knows? I was a little worried.
Yeah.
Crashed in between our events.
Okay. So this is on the Zooniverse.
Mhm.
Say, can you see?
I don't think you have your screen shared yet. It might not, you
Okay.
have to click when you click share.
Sorry. I even practiced this last night. And of course,
That's okay. I had an event last week where I just fully wasn't able to share my screen from my phone, and I had prepared to do so, so it was very
oh
embarrassing.
no, that would be,
Things happen. Zoom
yeah,
can do.
sometimes technology is my biggest nightmare as I'm presenting how to do citizen science on technology, but it'll be okay. All right.
There
So
we go.
this is the home page. Are
Yeah.
we sharing now? Yes. Okay. So I just typed in woodpecker over here on the SciStarter page. And if I spelled it right, which I can't see it now.
Yeah, you have an extra E in there.
Yep, I do.
There you go.
There we go. Then it pulls up the woodpecker cavity cam. And here it gives you a little description of the project. You can hit visit here, and then that takes you to your Zooniverse platform, the main page for the woodpecker cavity cam. Here it gives you a little history on the project. You can click about, and it tells you a lot of history about the project. You can learn about the team, the education behind it. So red-headed woodpeckers are found in the Midwestern and Southern US, and they are declining pretty rapidly, in a 67% decline since 1970. It's believed that a large part of that is because of the habitat loss for their nesting sites, which are typically in snags, dead trees. Um, and as humans, we like to clear that up and build things. So they started this project actually kind of in 2008. They just started monitoring nest sites. And then in 2017, they decided they needed to do some additional work. with an emphasis on the nesting habits of the birds. Because even though they're pretty prominent, I mean, you can see a red-headed woodpecker from a long distance away, but we don't know a whole lot about their nesting activities. So they put a bunch of cameras up on nesting trees to kind of learn more about their range, what their habits are. Where red-headed woodpeckers are also primary cavity nesters, which they make the hole, they nest in the hole, but then they leave. And then we're trying to find out what other creatures might use these holes. Maybe squirrels, maybe other birds, snakes, insects. So that's another reason that with the nesting cameras, we're looking for not just red-headed woodpeckers, but other animals as well. And trying to find out numbers, trying to find out maybe if we can figure out why nest sites are successful and some are not. The workflow for the project, they put out the cameras, they collect the SD cards, they upload the images. There's actually 3 different portions of the project that you can be a part of through Zooniverse. One is just checking video clips to tell if there is a non-human animal or not. And that's all you do. Yes, no. And then the no's go into an archive and the yeses are filtered into the next section, which lets them, excuse me. So in the next section is where it's determined whether or not there is a red-headed woodpecker present or if it's another animal. And then those sets of data are separated. And then the final workflow on this project is woodpecker days and nights. With that one, you see a little video clip and you're identifying if there is a red-headed woodpecker, if it is a nestling, a juvenile, an adult, or if there is actually, if it's, one slipped through and there's nothing there. And then to further that, after you've identified the animal, the bird, then it asks for some behaviors. Is it leaving the nest? Is it entering the nest? Is it vocalizing? Is it interacting with another red-headed woodpecker? Or is it interacting with another species altogether? After that, you're asked if your video clip was in black and white or in color. And then if the bird in the clip has bands, because a lot of the red-headed woodpeckers have been banded. So very many of these in this workflow have 4 bands. So then if it's the black and white video, they just ask whether or not you could see bands. But if it was a color video, then they ask if you can identify the colors of the bands and where they're located on the bird's legs. And you do all that, and then you're done. You can hit done, or you can, if you have a comment or you want to talk to someone else, there's an option to chat with somebody or to leave a message. And that's pretty much it. It's not very difficult. It's a video, so you can watch it several times to kind of, and I've actually found that like some of them, especially with the vans, if I watch it enlarged where I can zoom in a little bit, that helps. But that is pretty much the project. And so this is the about page. And then scroll to the top and there is classify. And this is where it tells you, like sometimes right now there's only one section of workflow, the woodpecker days and nights. Sometimes there might be all 3 available. It just depends on what they have going on at the time. So
yeah, for some insider knowledge too, it's usually on a rotation of 2 weeks to get more data in there. So if you're waiting patiently, you should only have to wait about 2 weeks. Sometimes it's different. It depends on the project, but that's the general rule of thumb that Zooniverse gives their projects at the start. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Fun fact. It's either 2 or 3 weeks. Now I'm doubting myself. It's a certain amount of amount of weeks, less than a month.
Now some of the projects that I'm like, oh, they're out of data. I'll have to check back more often.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like a worry because it's like, oh my gosh, we will never again find more data. And sometimes they're just done with the project, which is also amazing for that research team. But usually it's about 2 weeks or so.
Okay, that's good to know. So check back in 2 weeks.
Let's try out days and nights. I don't think I've done this this protocol either, so I'm excited.
Okay. All right, so we will click on this. We have woodpecker days and nights, and you can tell here 63% complete. Here on this page, there is a tutorial if you need a refresher or if you're doing it for the first time. And this just kind of goes through what you're looking for. I kind of went through it a little bit. The different ages of the birds, different habits that you can tell. And that's all under tutorial. We'll go back to task. There's also a section here next to the video, the field guide. And this is really good because it gives you kind of an overview of the different birds you might see, different cavity visitors you might see, leg bands, the life stages, which I've had to go to this several times because especially on the night videos, the black and white, it can be really hard to tell. Juveniles are pretty much gray. They don't have a lot of coloring, but their base of their wings on juveniles, there is this banding of black and white, where on adults, that's all white.
Oh,
So that is a good way to tell at night what they are. What
very
they
helpful of them to consider
Yeah.
the black and white photograph.
Yeah. And then the field guide is up all the time. You can always click on that. Even, you can watch a couple of minutes of or seconds of your video and then click the field guide to get some more information. All right, so we'll show how to identify. We'll go ahead and watch this one.
Oh, I just think they're so cute. Ooh.
All right, and there he goes. So I usually like to watch them twice just to see, like you can see there's a little bit of banding on that one. I think this is just one bird. So we'll go ahead and that is an adult. It has a very clear red head.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will ask how many adults there are.
Mm-hmm.
The behaviors. So he entered and exited the cavity. And that one was very windy. A lot of times you can hear nestlings in the nest pretty clear. I haven't heard any adults vocalizing, but I have heard the nestlings chatting quite a bit. Then hit identify. I don't know why. Oh, then it just asks again, because if there had been a second one, like if there was a juvenile, you could click that and it would ask you the same thing. So we just saw the one bird. The video is not in black and white. Is there at least one red-headed woodpecker with visible colored leg bands? Say yes.
Did you see the bands, or how can you see the bands, I guess?
I could see them. Let's see, I might have to start over and pause.
Oh, before it went in?
Yeah. I think I missed it on that one.
Yeah, that's the very start if it's jumping
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I definitely could not
Right
see.
there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then if you kind of
Oh.
zoom in on that, you can kind of see. So the bands, they start with the left leg and they do the body and then the foot. So the one, I think this is the right leg. So we will skip this one, say that it's not visible.
Okay.
And then this would be the left leg closer to the foot, which is not visible. And then on the right leg, closest to the body, we have the metal or white color.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, scroll down. And then orange.
Okay, there's usually only 2 colored bands on each leg. Like they don't do.
Yes.
Okay.
No, they don't do that. I've only seen 2
Okay.
on each one. Then it asks if there is another red-headed woodpecker with visible colored leg bands. Say no. And then that's it. I can hit done and I am finished with that one.
Woohoo.
And these two, like sometimes the colors are kind of hard to see, and that's something you can comment on. Never be afraid with any of your Zooniverse projects that you are the only person looking at it and you're going to screw it up, because you are not.
I like the way
We are very big participants in citizen science, but it's not all hanging on us. They have a lot of people reviewing the videos just for that reason, because it's too much pressure to put on one person. that's the woodpecker cavity cam. We can go ahead and do a couple more, or I don't know if there's any
Yeah,
questions.
do it. We still have a good. I'm trying to think. I'll keep thinking about questions because at first I
Okay.
was confused when I misread nestling and thought it said nesting. I was like, are we looking at like female versus male?
Oh,
And I can't read apparently as
oh no, I've done that too. Well, and then like I kept thinking, how are we going to see these nestlings? But it's really when they're this project, and this is something that's in the field guide. With this project, a nestling is considered a bird that cannot fly.
Oh,
Whereas a juvenile, like in this picture on the right, they're able to leave the cavity, but they don't have their adult plumage, and they're probably not surviving completely on their own. They probably still have parents around helping them out with food or watching out for predators. So if they're in the nest cavity and they don't come out and fly at all, then they would still be considered fledglings. But I was thinking, how am I supposed to see a little tiny baby in there?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, even so, like, how often would they stick their heads out if they're nestlings? I'm curious. Have you seen a lot of nestlings then, or any?
I've not seen very many.
Okay,
I've seen like 3 or 4, but
we'll have to see.
that doesn't mean they're not here, because that's one of the like the things, and I find this addictive, especially with some of the other projects where you're looking for just any wildlife. That you're like, okay, I'm gonna do 5 more and maybe I'll see something, and then you'll see like one thing and you're like, oh yeah, and then you keep going, and then it's like reading a book, like one more page, and then it's been like an hour and you're still flipping through sides hoping that you're gonna see that orca or whatever.
Absolutely. I have to remind myself to blink when I look at Zooniverse projects. I'm always very intently looking at the screen.
Yeah,
I'm like, you gotta blink. Looking at it for too long, focusing in, or
yeah,
getting really excited about focusing in for an hour and not blinking.
yeah. There was one I did where it was, I think it was at the same place at Cedar Creek, but it was just looking at trail cams,
Yeah,
and it
Cedar
was
Creek.
like looking at a field, and then in one of the pictures I saw a sandhill crane
Oh,
kind of in the middle distance, and I was like, oh, have I like been missing these? And then I was like
oh no.
paranoid, but I was like, no, I think I'm pretty sure I would have seen it. But it was just so weird though. And that's just a sandhill crane. They stand there kind of hauntingly, and yeah.
Very
But
gracious, or not gracious, graceful and ominous.
yes.
Graceful and ominous. Yeah, we did that one earlier today, I think. Cedar Creek Eyes on the Wild.
Yes.
Yeah, we did that one
Yeah.
earlier. It's the same team doing both these projects. They're wonderful. They're great partners too. They're very invested in Citizen Science Month, so we're definitely
That's
helping
good.
them out.
Yeah. I have looked at that one a lot. It's just, I don't know. And then when you see the deer in it, you're like, oh, they're so pretty. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And they're just like getting way too close to the camera. I had a lot of like deer faces, just plain old faces earlier today. It was very
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah. And then sometimes you're like, is that a ear, or I don't know.
We had one earlier that was just like half an antler, like a baby antler, and so
Oh,
you could see any of the deer really other than like its back slash side of its head. And so the antler could be an antler, but it also looks like it's just you're confused by the image in general because you can't
yeah.
really tell where it's
Yeah.
standing, but it's a
Yeah. And but you're kind of like, I know this is a deer because I know this camera has some height behind it. And
yeah. Probably just wanting to snack on whatever is like leaning against the tree or something.
probably, I think they know they're there, I think sometimes.
Oh yeah. They
I don't
give
know.
a selfie image.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so we'll go ahead and do another one here.
perfect. Hello, Woodpecker.
Ooh.
They're just so entertaining to watch. Just hanging out.
All right.
I wasn't paying attention to see bands. I was too fast.
That is the glory that we can look again.
Very true.
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't think I saw any.
Yeah.
One more time.
Is it easy to scrub across these? I haven't tried it yet. Let's see. Oh, I have my audio on. Oh, okay. I don't know if you could hear through my screen, but it was some nice noises.
Oh,
Okay, it does. You can scrub, but it's a little bit challenging still. Oh, Juicy bands. Okay, so for
All
that
right.
one, I'm guessing it was a not juvenile. I'm guessing it was an adult.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm stuck on juvenile here.
Oh, I think, let's see.
Is
Actually, I
that
am too. You have to
good?
hit cancel at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-oh. We might go to something different. Oh, no. There we go.
okay. So if you scroll down, yeah, hit
Yeah.
cancel and then it'll reset it. There
I
you
don't
go.
know. For some reason, it seems like my screen is really large, but
Oh,
no, I
you could
think
do
it's
the
just me.
command minus to make it zoom out, if that's helpful.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. All
Mhm.
right. So that was an adult red-headed woodpecker. And there was only one. I haven't seen two in a while. I'm
Hold
excited for
on.
that.
They give us different ones. Like I'm watching yours, but also have one up on my screen. I do have two on mine, which is pretty.
Gee,
Yeah,
of course.
we're
All
saying hello to
right.
each other. My turn to go in the cavity.
And then you have to remember, like, this is many cavities. It's not the
Um,
same one all the time.
do we know how many cameras they have up? I don't actually know if it's.
I don't remember reading that.
Hmm.
It might be in there. And then no black and white, but no colored leg bands. Let's see. Maybe if we go to about, I don't remember reading that part.
Research location. I mean, it is a good area of space, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have a good amount out.
Yeah. When they said that this area too, they have over 100 nesting pairs. They have a really large concentration.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it's a good place for them to do this kind of research.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't see. That'd be a good question. Okay. Should we do one more?
Sure. Actually, do you mind if I
Or
share my screen? I have a question for you about this one.
no, go ahead.
Um, because I am hearing vocalizations and I don't know how to answer the question.
Oh,
So this is the two that are hanging out. So how many adults? I put two, and I have them. I'll play the video so you can see it. Got one hanging out there, one exiting, one entering, one with bands. I heard vocalizing at the beginning, but I'm wondering if you know if we know automatically if it's the nestling or the adults, like what the difference in tones are. You know?
I think that at the very beginning was the adults, the kind of scratchy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the adult. And then the cheapy in the back, I think is nestlings.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I didn't know they sounded like that, that little scratchy sound.
Yeah,
Okay, so I would say vocalizing. It is moving on a tree trunk technically before entering because they're taking turns.
this is true.
They're a pair. And then let's see. Would you count that as interacting, you think?
I would.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just doing everything. And then possibly nestling vocalizing.
Yes.
Sweet. All right. Identifying. Sweet. And
All
then
right.
I didn't see anything else, so I'll go ahead and hit next. It is not, it's in color. Is there at least one red-headed woodpecker? Yes, absolutely. What color? Okay, now I gotta back up.
Yeah. Oh.
Two orange. Oh, I thought it was more visible in one screen. Oh, aha, okay.
Ah, there you go.
Does that look like two to you?
Yes.
Maybe two. I can't tell if that's just dark because of its
I
leg.
think that's two. I think the width of it.
Oh yeah, it's wider. Okay.
Yeah.
So on the left leg, we've got closest to the body, looks like it's black.
Yes.
Okay, and then closest to the foot on the left leg, we got orange.
Orange.
On the right leg, closest to the body, that's white or metal. It looks
Yeah,
very, that's too funny that they use two different colors.
it is. When I'm thinking like four bands, I wonder what, I bet it says on there somewhere what they all mean.
Yeah, I want to know. Does this one just love hanging out with humans? It's like, yeah, band me.
Yeah,
Go for it.
go for it. Take all the information.
Take my info. It's a frequent visitor, frequent flyer. Ha, that's a bird. Frequent flyer. Sorry. Okay.
Oh
Is
my
there
God.
another visible? We just love puns. Not catch. Yeah, I can't see them.
Yeah,
No.
I didn't see that one.
Sorry,
Oh.
can't do it. Done. Sweet. Okay, I feel very accomplished. I think we have time for maybe one more if you want to lead us.
Maybe one more.
Let me
Okay.
stop share
Am I
again.
still sharing? Oh,
I think
go
I
back.
hide it.
There we go.
There
All
we
right, one more.
Oh, is this the one that we had to refresh on? It almost looks the same. Maybe it's just the same
Oh, it does.
type of behavior.
Yeah.
But it
Okay.
looks like a different time of the day.
We have an adult. Um, sitting in the cavity or in or near the cavity, moving on the tree trunk. I don't know if that really he's just kind of hanging out in one spot.
Yeah, I didn't see it switch.
Maybe we'll watch again. And I don't think his legs are moving.
He's very content to stay in one spot.
Yeah. All right. And then it's not in black and white.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I do see. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'll blow this one up real quick. Ooh, that made it
I
worse.
saw yellow, but I wasn't sure. Oh yeah, that looks yellow.
Yeah. Do you think yellow closer to the body and a black?
Can you
That's a
scrub
black one.
the timing around? Because I think the shadow goes away at some point because he moves his head inside the cavity. That might help. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
there we go. It's even getting better then. Looks like yellow closest and black farthest.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but only one leg. We don't get the secondary leg.
Yeah, so that's the left leg closest to the body, yellow and black. Not visible. Not visible.
It's a little daunting to have so many questions, but it's really not that hard to answer, which is nice.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And once you kind of get into it, well,
Yeah.
it's like everything on here. You just
Totally.
get into the rhythm.
And the rhythm, and then you get really good at it, and then eventually you join the science team, as has happened many a time. So if you get really
Nice.
into it, you join. We have one of our NASA Citizen Science projects, Burst Chaser. One of the volunteers on that project is actually, or one of the science team members from that project is a volunteer from Disk Detective, a different NASA project where it evolved out of
Oh,
the project because they were like, wait, we need to look into this project, and he was at the forefront of like, yeah, let's do it. Let's define the question and everything. And it was really it's a wonderful process. You can be a part of the team if you engage
yeah.
in a more uh, in a more intense way too. You can measure the amount of like participation you have, which is really cool,
Yeah,
especially with
that's
that.
really cool.
Yeah.
I think something like this is good too, like if you have children or you have a group of people, because things like that, like we've been working together just on the few that we've done, because it is a little harder to see and the banding and the different behaviors and stuff. So this would be a good project, I think, too, if you have a community in your house or wherever.
You do the buddy system.
Yeah, do the buddy system and just, instead of watching birds out your window, you can watch them in the
Yeah.
cavity cam.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Especially if you live in a place where it's like birds don't hang out unless you sit out there with a bird feeder. Like I've lived it. I guess
right.
DC does have a lot of birds, but it's some places not so much.
Some
Or it's mostly
places, yeah.
pigeons.
Yeah. Or like my backyard in my new house, like I have trees, but they're a ways out there. I can't really see anything without binoculars.
Oh, sure.
So
Yeah.
this is fun.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for sharing that with us
yeah,
and how to do it. I
thank
feel
you.
very ready to do more.